And all the praise to Allah and the prayers on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his companion. All the praise to Allah who guided us to this way. I thank Allah for this chance to speak to you today about this series that are organized by the World Muslim Communities Council. And our topic for today, it is a question we can say, who is responsible today about humanity within the human big crisis? So I am talking here the darkness of a human crisis. The responsible for humanism, is a human who is created by Allah in the best way. Allah said, and also made him Khalifa in the earth. And also put everything in this land and seas, Allah said. Also, Allah said, you human being, you will be asked about what you are doing. So Allah is not asked about what he's doing, but all human being will be asked. So human being, they are created in the best way. So this is a theory, a scientific theory, which say what is common between a human being and animals, and also between spiritual aspect, which dedicate the difference between a human. Darwin hasn't made the human an animal, but he made him aware with his animal originality. And here, people inferred what's suitable political and also morally, that a human society is like a herd in the form of civilization. And civilization, it is a human that stop all the religion forbidden things and to control the nature with the living practices and the body senses without paying attention to the spiritual senses or even religious spiritual thing. But as he, the Khalifa on the earth, so a human being would need to know, as Abul Qasim al-Asfahani said, he's not suitable to replace Allah. And only the one who is pure soul, he will be able to do or to be a Khalifa in order to build this earth. So there is impurity for the soul as there is impurity for the body. Impurity for the body can be seen by eyes, but impurity of soul only with the vision. So only the one who is pure in his soul will be able to be a Khalifa in the earth in order to take his instruction as a model, and who is who impure in his soul. Every cup is full with what's filled with. And this is a quotation. So Allah dedicated all the sources in the sea and the earth. People misunderstood this meaning. As Robert Winter noticed, that they want to replace human, want to replace or to take Allah position, and they want to recreate and to organize this universe, which is according to their brain. And this still the ambition of civilization in the 20th century. And because of that, that will take the humanity of the human being who forgot the human dignity. And this is a quotation finished. This mean that we are living today within a human crisis. So that's what we have reached today at the beginning of the 21st century. We reached a great crisis of a humanism where we lost the human dignity as a human disrespect the agreement with Allah, and for that they are misguided and they have hard hearts. They will not hold a human responsibility in front of Allah and history, and they will not feel also the conscious of the human dignity, as Allah said. Yes, the Italian philosopher Giovanni di Dondola, who was the first to speak in Europe about the human dignity, and he took this speech from all the writings in Arabic from Abdullah Saracen, and maybe he is Abdullah ibn al-Muqaffa, when he is asked, as Biko quote, what is the best thing in this universe? He said, nothing is better than the human being. And also this was named also Biko del Berda. He was named the father of humanity. And Biko Pirandola, he was named the father of humanity. He wrote a book about the human dignity, the 15th century, when the world was dedicated basically for the glory of God. And this was not negotiable, but the negotiation, the glory of Allah, where human dignity, it was harmed. So in the Middle Ages in Europe, who lived in an ambiguous school with the real belief in Allah, because at the end of the day, it's like a human endeavor. It was conditioned with internal condition for the soul and the human mind, and it is limited with time and venue, knowing that theology is not for that, gathering information and the new information, and it is not the art of depicting the world. Theology is a human activity different from other sciences, where he is seeking truth about God and not about the human being. It's difficult to identify the history moment where a human being understood really that reaching to the truth about Allah can be reached easily or fast through knowing himself and his human brother. But as we can say, people who is talented spiritually as Sophia, they put into consideration always, who knows the truth about himself like a human. He knows the truth about Allah. Who know himself, he will know his God. So that doesn't mean that knowing his dignity through the Sophia, so human dignity should not be bought about the glory of Allah. And here the humanity in the model way with farther from the spiritual aspect, where they increase the human dignity above the glory of God, or by saying humanism, the surface or the shadow of this spiritual that humanity is suffering or the human suffering today is because believing that the dignity of a human being and the glory of Allah need to be the main thinking of the free world. So when the religion lost its evidence and became not convincible from its human or moral sentences, and with a skeptic about it, here theology in the Europe only submitted the different humanization of religion, and that mean losing the soul, and also humanity adopted for globalization. It was built on materialism. Yes, there is a humanism which is globalized humanism, where this definition for humanity can be mixed with a human or scientific approach, and claiming the person should not has a religion or a belief, spiritual belief, if he wants to be human. This is the biggest gap in the human globalization, because the conflicts with the religious, spiritual, human globalization that deprive and forbid to go to the history and the cultures with the great diversity. But we it's better to follow humanity as a history of a human cultures with a lot of shallow morals and fake morals and political oppression for the human minds and values, noble values. In order to do that, we can develop a cohesive idea about what is the human culture with the correct belief and the good work according to the history, and not because of the European Enlightenment. So, in our opinion, humanity today, individuals, group, and community, they need the religion or the spiritual touch as the religion or theology in the Europe. They needed eco touch for a humanism in the 15th century. It's very important today to enrich this globalization with the same way was necessary to be enriched the religion with the moderate humanity, where the religion was in a crisis, as in today. Albert Camus said, the aim of the writer to prevent the destruction of the civilization, and we can say the same thing today during the human crisis that's happening currently. Scientists inherited prophets not to destroy humanity and not to demolish culture. The world wars built the United Nations and are responsible for the humanity, regardless of the religion, ethnic, or even, but unfortunately, the United Nations is not able to fulfill its responsibility in an effective way, especially as the General Secretary said, Antonio Guterres, Gaza is not a crisis only, but also, before everything, it is a human crisis. Gaza is like a graveyard for the children. They are killed, injured, girls, boys, and this direction of violence and also neglecting the international law and the human life. It is unprecedented. So human is named as a reasonable creature, but here it's about the selection, the alternative that giving to it to be logical or an animal. So the human need to be a human by his choice. He need to consider his life very valuable. He need to learn how to maintain or keep his life, protect his life. He need to discover the values which is required and the virtues. So the log of these values, it's a log for values. In fact, the real case here, it's about the moral in the modern community, which is from the soul of Allah or from the humanity, and we call it as Muslims at-taqwa, and the ability of the person to know the right and wrong, to know what's good or bad, or even the human values or even desire. So the idea of the civilized modern civilization is not a bad idea, but can be good or bad according to the moral values built on the culture diversity, and it is stimulated from other values like freedom against slavery, science fiction, humanity against barbarism. So the idea of the modern community, it's not a social development. It is just a model for something that is similar to other things, which is a model for the modern community, the diversity with all the different things, science, democracy, humanity, the principle, which is the fact of humanity, or even the strength to increase the human value and the human dignity. So we need to ask how close the modern community in order to fulfill the human value, human dignity, and social justice. Every person has got his own answer about this question, but I would like to remind you that our civilization today, it is the one with the big discrepancy when there is high grades in education, low morals, when there is more knowledge, low wisdom, when there is more knowledge, we have number of scientists, when there is more wealth, there is less moral values, when there is bigger houses, we have smaller families, when we have faster communication, we have less love between humanity, when there is more books talking about pollution, we there is increase of neglect for nature. When we have more conferences about peace, we find more wars around the world. When there is more think of mind, there is increase of number of churches. There is less people go there. When there is more people in the mosque, less security and safety in some Muslim cities. When there is more tears on the walls of the Jerusalem, there is less peace there. It's like indicators we need to change our lifestyle and we need to discover new moral strength, a new start that can show us or the main humanity. As we know, there was a person, Syntastus, he wrote more than 1,000 a year ago, he wrote about the art of war. It is just a clarification how people thought about war through the history. So the people can thought or think about the art of peace, but they haven't done. You can be invited to just fair or fair war. He could also select peace and not war, but he hasn't done. In fact, the art of peace, instead the art of war and fair peace, the sacred peace, not war. It is the plan for Noah's ship in order to get rid of these conflicts and to continue the with prosperity of our civilization and to progress in the future. This, and I say maybe the initiative to write the Peace Encyclopedia that was taken initiative by Abu Dhabi Peace Forum, led by the scholar Abdullah bin Bayya. This project, it's the first step in this kind, very unique. After we have seen the first book, it was about a war, not peace. So here, I hope that this project will succeed and we will see it on the ground because we are in a great need for peace as we need our bread every day, 3 times or more. I would like to thank you for your listening and I wish you all the blessing, good deeds in Rajab. We have Rajab, Shaban, and Ramadan, and I would like to congratulate you on these blessed months and hope that you are all well And we pray to Allah to have every year all the blessings and Ramadan on our Muslim nations and on all the humanity, to have peace and to have safety. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.